State, I will discharge my duty to the best of my ability, faithfully and in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the law, and always in the interest of the sovereignty, integrity, solidarity, well-being, and prosperity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
When I assumed office, I made a pledge. I said to Ogun State citizens that government is a continuum. I will ensure that all inherited projects, wherever they are, that have an economic benefit to our state, that are ongoing, will be completed. So, because we have very scanty handover notes, I set up a committee that was charged with the responsibility of going around the state and doing an assessment and report of all contracts that were awarded before my administration and before even the previous administration. Because it had become habitual that the government comes in and they abandon their predecessors' projects. So I said part of their charges were to harvest all those projects, identify the level of completion, identify how much money had been spent on them, how much money would be spent on them, and prioritize them for me. So we had them, identified at the end of that exercise.
I have a few observations. The drainages, as per the original contract, and as we've seen all over the state, are open drainages. And I believe roads that pass through built-up areas like this must have drainages that are covered. So we are going to ensure that that is added to the contract so that the drainages are covered. The contract includes street lighting, so there will be street lighting.
We have constructed in Ogun State about 400 kilometers of highways. We prioritize roads that are interstate roads. So we find that our first interstate road was the Ekpe-Jebode road, which hitherto was a nightmare. That road was constructed in a record time of probably 18 months in view of COVID. So today you are traveling from Lagos to Ekpe to the eastern corridor of Nigeria. A journey that probably would have taken you like maybe 2 hours between Ekpe and Ijebode takes about 15 minutes now. World-class toll gates and all the appurtenances of a modern highway. Today we have constructed the Shagamu-Abeokuta Expressway, which when I assumed office, we'd have to be dodging potholes. It was a death trap. That road is a 42-kilometer highway. Ekpe-Jebode was about almost 18 kilometers with a world-class interchange. We moved ahead to the Agbara-Aton-Lusada road. Agbara Estate is the estate that allowed us to be the acclaimed, industrial hub of Nigeria. And before we assumed office, this road had become totally impassable for so many years. And it's beyond me why previous administrations did not prioritize this road, because this is a road that's handles the prestigious industrial capital of Nigeria. And it had gotten so bad that companies, manufacturing companies, industries were leaving Agbara to Benin Republic or to Lekki Free Trade Zone because their containers were tipping over and their trucks were falling down in the course of trying to transport containers from the ports in Lagos to that road. So we prioritized it, a federal road again. We took it over. That construction is ongoing. And I think it speaks to us putting our priorities in place and putting our money where our mouth is. We have constructed other roads that are interstate roads, intrastate roads. And what we've done is we've done these roads across the state. We have a minimum of 1 or 2 roads in every local government. So all our 20 local governments today have 1 or 2 roads that either have been constructed or are ongoing. So in terms of equity and fairness. We've also ensured that all the roads that we inherited from the previous administration. Remember when I was being sworn in, you come to Abeokuta, just before, after the governor's office, it was all laterite all the way. The bridges were not completed, the stadium, the whole place was all dusty. But all that today is history. There was something missing. We did not have a Ministry of Transportation in Ogun State. Fortunately, we got the attention of the United Kingdom Foreign Development Office. We brought in people from the Olabisi Onabanjo University, Department of Transportation, and a few resource people. And that birthed what we call a multi-modal transport master plan, which helped us in identifying our critical roads and how our roads will interlink with rail, the rail network that we graciously have by the grace of the federal government. What airport do we need and where? What seaport or sea transportation do we need and where? Mass transport buses, and so on and so forth. And I'm emphasizing all this so you know our thought processes and how we started. airplane has just landed in Ogun State. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my own oh my God moment. This construction we started sometime around September 2021, and it will be on record as the fastest built airport anywhere. As you can see, they came with their letter. That letter is an application letter requesting for 5 hectares of land. They not only came with their letter, they came with their banker, so that their banker also can attest to the fact that they are actually ready to invest and they have the finances to do so. For me, nothing can be better gratifying and fulfilling than having a dream, implementing that dream, and now seeing others key into that dream and also buying into it and actually putting their mouth, behind their determination to partner with us. This airport at the bankers committee meeting was designated as the airport for export of non-oil.
Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn àjọṣe gbogbo wa ni láti ṣe ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn. Ìgbéga ìpínlẹ̀ Ògùn àjọṣe.
Under social wellbeing and welfare, you have women empowerment, you have housing, you have healthcare. And those are areas that are very, very key. They may not necessarily be revenue generating, but they are extremely important to the welfare of humankind. And like they say, you cannot function when you're not healthy. When we assumed office, we realized the fact that our primary healthcare centers, which are the closest to the grassroots, were completely, almost not functional. In Ogun State, we have 236 political wards. We have over 400 primary healthcare centers, but how many of them were functioning when we assumed office? People had even lost confidence in them, And part of our policy was to employ what we call a hub and spoke approach to healthcare, meaning that we must ensure that we bring healthcare to every indigene as close as possible to every indigene, so you can perhaps walk to a PHC. And then, if your case cannot be managed at that PHC, then you are referred to a secondary healthcare facility.
I commissioned this primary healthcare center in the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Congratulations.
When you travel across the state, you see our housing program. And people think we're just building houses because of course, we are passionate about public servants. We want to turn up citizens from being tenants into landlords. But that was part of our program that we called our economic sustainability plan, particularly during COVID. You know how COVID has affected many economies and impoverished a lot of businesses across the world. We saw ahead of it and we realized that a lot of our citizens that are being employed by some of these companies were actually casual staff. So they were laid off during COVID. And we saw a potential problem. So we began to roll out our ambitious housing plan. It was aimed at doing something, or two things. One was to provide affordable housing for our citizens, but two, to employ our artisans. So we began to roll out those plans across the length and breadth of the state so that our artisans from Ogun East, Ogun Central, Ogun West can immediately see opportunities to be employed. We can't even build fast enough. They are buying them faster than we're building.
Congratulations.
The next thing I did on my first day in office was to call a Security Council meeting. I was shocked to find out that the members of the Security Council, mainly the heads of the security agencies, said to me that was the first time they were having a Security Council meeting in probably 4 years or 5 years. I was shocked to find out in one of those briefings that the police commissioner in Ogun State could not speak to a divisional police officer or an area commander except by mobile phone, meaning that there were no communication equipment in existence in the state. Besides that, they had very few patrol security vehicles. They did not have enough equipment. They didn't even have a provision for their welfare. So that day I decided that I must relaunch or reinvigorate the Security Trust Fund.
May I have your permission to carry on with the rest of the parade, Your Excellency?
With what we have started in Ogun State, it's a revolution, and I'm sure other states are already, they're already contacting us that how are you doing it. By the time we finish that, the phenomenon of unapproved schools will almost be eliminated totally in Ogun State.
I want to seize this opportunity to appreciate Prince Dr. Abiodun. He promised
to give us this job. The welders, the carpenters, the school furnishers all over Ogun State. He has fulfilled that one too.
As an example, because I've lost hope, even I've decided not to do any photocopy of CV or credential anymore. The day I was called, I was surprised. In fact, it's something that I less expected again in my life. And I believe what has happened to me has happened exactly to me. So that is again, we appreciate you.
My joy today knows no bounds. First, because there are times you conceive an idea. There are times you implement an idea. And there are many times that the idea works or is not successful. Nothing is more fulfilling than when you conceive an idea, you implement that idea, and it's a success story.
Nexus between insecurity or security and unemployment, illiteracy, drug abuse, and so on and so forth. So I thought, whilst we're working on reinvigorating the Security Trust Fund and the welfare of the law enforcement agencies, let's even find out how many people we have in the state that are unemployed, so that we can begin to deal with that accordingly and we can enjoy the results of both initiatives. So and everybody says, so how do we do that? That's never been done before in these states. I say, what we're going to do is we're going to create a job portal. That job portal will be a place where anyone looking for a job opportunity in Ogun State will visit and register on the portal. Of course, the naysayers said, oh, these people have come from the private sector, they want to use it to raise money, it's not going to work, or they want you to get your details. You know, there were so many insinuations, but we refused to be distracted. I called my ICT team to put the portal in place, and the result was phenomenal. In 1 week, we had over 150,000 people that registered on the portal, those that were either unemployed or underemployed. So at least we had a fair idea of what we're dealing with in terms of unemployment. We partnered with a company, Amoben, that said to us, we will provide you with day-old chicks. If you can find agripreneurs that will be willing to rear those chicks every 90 days. So we said, okay, let's start a pilot. We got our young men who are interested. We provided pens for them. We gave them day-old chicks free of charge. Amoben supported us with the feeds and all that, taught them how to, look after them. In 90 days, those day-old chicks became broilers, and Amoben bought everything back from them. So today we have people rearing broilers across the length and breadth of the state. So you can imagine, again, the multiplier effect of this and the impact in terms of wealth creation, job creation, reduction in crime. one of the programs we saw was the Anchor Borers program. That program is a program of the CBN. It allows for we as a state, being an agrarian state, with over 12,000 square kilometers of arable land, to provide land for intending agripreneurs, we call them, those that want to be entrepreneurs in the area of agriculture. I take my promises very seriously. I do not promise to do everything. I cannot. But anything I promise, that promise will be kept.